same shit, nigga. They turn their head over, nigga.
I pray where Eve didn't Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the eye like stamps and I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert, never cop can stretch the nigga. He a demon, it's an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. Took that open blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision, let me break the picture. Rappers can they spit and I ain't listening, is effective. If revenge was a woman, now I stole that bitch like Jackie. Time war, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. As who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't be too baby, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young pay. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold nigga? What he saying something, I ain't hear him. This shit like it ain't on who got this gun, it's on who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Bring shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never fight the hand and feet, you'll never get that hand back. Bitch about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, he's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow side, yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his gang, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Practice, not a game, not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? And we're talking about practice.
Best believe that I'm top 3. The only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Put me anywhere other than one that is not me. It's beef, we strut a nigga block, that's chopped cheese. No piece, the butterfly sting 'em, that's Ali. You reek, I teach you with the handle, that's Kyrie. Machine, you hook like a Roman, that's IV. You a sheep, I'm a go, it's a difference, so watch me. You weak, all hooks, no punches, so block these. They mock me, I just show them how it goes. Try to stomach this thug life. They bring out the nose, bandana on the grip. All he is coming out the foe. Connected from Cali to New York, nigga, so let it go. Made for this. Nigga, I eat bars and drink clothes, thinking you woke into your third eye peephole. Line for line, this shit too easy, it's like a free throw. Mastered the game too early, this bitch a cheat code, it ain't a game. These niggas lame, state bring a shame. If I'm with an officer, it's a number in his name. We ain't the same, we want the easy pass, tell him change his lane. Shit, I've been through the fire, you can't stand the rain, take an aim. Tell him running, he can try his best. Drive a car named after me, that's why I'm in the vet. Lamping these niggas once again, and I ain't break a sweat. Number one at everything I do, that's why I'm one west. The Lord is not the God of the dead, so when I die, coming back for my spot, so forever I'm top 3. Just tell him to watch this janitor with the mop stick. You gon' need a defensive lineman to block this. On point when I bomb shit, 10 for 10, I do not miss. I'm barking with a full bulldog, it is not big. They can see that my mind's sick, I don't write, I sign shit. I don't like it, and I switch it. If I touch it, it's diamond. Tell the bitch that I'm God sent. It ain't cause my kicks is built like 5'6", 5'7", is my bitch. Dangerous, high risk, I lose it, get another one. You think I'm talking about a girl, I'm talking about another gun. Head now, hey look, it is what it is now. We don't fuck with the house niggas, we burn the crib. I'm ahead now, and I hope they get hit now. I don't care if you think it's hit, nigga, I don't fear class. Colors just make it sound like raindrop, that's a fire storm. Get the job done, and if you would get fired on. If you niggas standing for nothing, what you dying for? If you put real with real, that's how I was born. Walking in bitch running for 4, I'm in riot form. I want these niggas the CD play. That's why I am on shit and live in the crib, nigga. I should buy a farm to go through the shit so ever. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3.
What it do? What it do? You know, cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader.
It's too late, a nigga sip the Kool-Aid. That LaFrog single barrel and goose egg. Got the coke going up on a Tuesday. Roast the false prophet like a gourmet souffle. Cause me don't souffle, spirit gun like you skate. Nigga might run up in that black face like Gucci. Boycott a cracker, kill your favorite rapper. Cause I run with G's like a Green Bay Packer. I chop a Christian like a new machete. When you religionist, they look at you like R. Kelly. Still these women wanna do me like I'm Akinelli. West Coast sisters love me like a Machiavelli. Make these crackers lick the dust off my boots. We want no cowards in our camp that we ain't taking recruits. My crew the livest, y'all suckers is the jobbers. Niggas run their lips but they damn sure wouldn't try us. Nah, I ain't the same cat who used to break laws. They just rather see me as the same cause. Some rather remain lost. My brain washed with these same thoughts. I be repping for my niggas riding for the same cause. Cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, then I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Better ask somebody, bitch.
Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah.
Now I'm telling you, man, they really ain't gonna believe that I got a baby in my arms while I'm doing this. Little Zahar, man, won't be quiet. Check it out, yo. Plain spades, reminiscing on days before niggas started shooting, we would still catch fades. It's like the world's a lot scarier since crack and AIDS. And the only thing that we became is rats in the maze. Cause all my brother cares about is trapping in J's. Mine's fucked up from the pills and the haze. Pop said we hard-headed, stuck in our ways. So I've been praying to the most high that it's just a phase, yo. Hardly surprised and always amazed. Especially at what's been getting radio plays, yo. I wanna be the cataclysm of a cataclysm, bomb atomically and take it back to lyricism. But you know nowadays, it seems like it's forbidden. Anybody in the industry knows they ain't fucking with them. And anyone I'm signed, they wanna be outshined. So I guess it's just me, myself, and all these empty lines. I never knew that being nice would get you penalized. Once you blowing up, they wanna know your penis size. Hoes all staring, saying you got dreamy eyes.
Ready to rock, ready to answer your questions. Today, our topics will go into the LGBTQ plus community. We'll also go into abortion, all right? I need my phone in the back, please, Levi. First, I'll answer your questions in the room and online whenever you're ready. Who we have here tonight, Al?
We got Colleen, sir.
Colleen, Texas, give him a hand. Run him down.
Oh, we got HQ.
HQ, give HQ a hand. Harlem. Please, if you don't mind. Please, always. 2 fingers, please. Please, the water. Please, the water.
And yourself.
Oh, and I'm here with you too. Get it on. All right. All right, solid. Any questions? Let's have them. Also,
Colleen
I got
has
the video. The video I'll use for you when we're doing the abortion. All right.
Oh, sir. Colleen has some questions, sir.
Colleen, you're up.
Go ahead.
Hey, Shalom, Yabashir sir.
Shabbat thumb.
Salaki, sir. I wanted a general breakdown, Baba Kashaf, if I could, sir. The book Zechariah chapter 4, verse 4 through 7, sir.
Just reminded me of something. Another brother texted me a question. Hold on. Damn, I don't forgot the question. Is this the same brother? No, this is Mark 9 and 48 to 50. That's not you, is it, Rob? That's not you, right?
No, sir.
All right, another one, Asher. Make sure I get to Mark 9 and 45. Not Mark 9 and 48 to 50, all right? You got, yeah, hold that for later. All right, what was your question again,
Khan, sir. The book of Zechariah chapter 4, verse 4 through 7, sir.
All right.
This is a general breakdown on the one.
General breakdown. Go ahead.
Khan, sir. The book of Zechariah chapter 4, verse 4. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts.
You better skip up to what he's seeing.
Khan, sir. This is verse 1. And the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is wakened out of his sleep, and said unto me, what seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick of all gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon
you understand what that is?
La, sir, I do not.
That's the menorah, or the candlestick in the nation of Israel, that we all hold the depiction of in every Israelite school of the UPK's school. The 7-branch candlestick. Do we have one in here?
Yeah, one in here.
To you, all right? In Hebrew, it's menorah. In the Assyrian, it's menorah. And this is it right here.
Khan, sir.
All right? 7 branches, the knot at the top, which goes into the 7 branches. All right, this is the candlestick. We had it in our temple. There was a giant one of these that lit the temple along with other candlesticks. But this was called the candlestick because it was the largest one in the temple. Everybody understands? You good to go out?
Khan, sir. Now, so when he's, my question was about what the angel was telling Zerubbabel, or telling Zechariah about the not by might, not by power, but by my spirit. And then he says, verse 7, what are thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel? Thou shalt become a plain, and shall bring forth the headstone, crying grace, grace unto it.
I can't hear him. There's some distortion. Let me just read it for myself.
Lower the volume on your end in terms of the TV.
Okay.
Tell me, where are we at again? Where are we, Asher?
We're in Zechariah chapter 4.
Go ahead.
Right.
Salaki, sir, can you hear me now?
That's better, Rock. Let me catch up with you, all right? Zechariah 4 and what?
Chapter 4, verse 4 through 7.
Chapter 4, verse 4 through 7. Stand by. Mm-hmm. Got you. All right, go ahead and read verse 4. So I explained to you that what he was seeing is this. He was seeing a depiction or a vision of the great candlestick that was in the temple of Israel. So when he showed it to Zechariah. Zechariah didn't understand what he meant. That's why the angel said, you don't know what this is? You don't get it? Right? Meaning I'm showing you the candlestick in the temple of the Lord. What's the point? Keep reading.
Khan, sir. Verse 4. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord.
Meaning you should know what these candlesticks are, these 7 candlesticks. You should know what they are. You don't know what they are. You don't know what they represent. And he said, no, I don't. Keep going.
Khan, sir. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel.
This is the word of the Most High unto Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel, look that up. I believe that was that wicked cat. I was on the tip of my tongue, Zerubbabel. But look him up real fast, and I'll explain who he is. All right, meaning the Most High is against him. He's against him, and he's going to destroy him. But the problem is Zechariah doesn't understand how he's going to destroy him. Meaning, is he going to be destroyed because of a great and mighty army? No. Are we going to devise some plan that's so cunning that will destroy our enemy? No. The point of showing him the candlestick of the Most High is to indicate that the Most High God is going to do it. The Lord's Spirit is going to do it. And as you know, this candlestick is also used in the book of Revelations to represent the 7 churches or the 7 schools that the Apostle Paul set up. And the Lord said that his Spirit is with the 7 churches. Do you understand?
Khan, sir.
Meaning the Most High God is working through those 7 schools. If you have Zerubbabel, tell me what it means, all right?
Zerubbabel led the first group of Jews who returned from the Babylonian captivity in the first year of Cyrus. Basically, that's who he was.
Okay, yeah, his name indicates that he was wicked. Whenever you hear Baal or Nubal or Rubaal or Zerubbabel or Baal-zebub, that's to indicate wickedness. Everybody understands, right?
Sir.
So the Most High is coming against him. That's the point you got to get. Keep reading.
Khan, sir. This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts.
Not by might,
Sir.
not by strength, not by physical strength. What is power? Ability, right? Like political power, ability. But this will not be done by ability. This won't be done by cunning. This won't be done by physical might, but by my spirit. That's how it will be done. Continue.
Khan, sir. Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel?
They used to call Daniel. This is not the name they used to call Daniel, right? Look up the name they called Daniel, just so I don't get twisted up, all right? But keep going.
Khan, sir. Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel? Thou shalt become a plain.
Meaning, who art thou, great mountain, before Zerubbabel? Meaning, there's a mountain in front of him. It's going to become a plain, meaning the mountain is going to get knocked down flat. A plain is like a table, right? A table, it's flat. Instead of being a mountain, now it's flat. Continue.
Khan, sir. And he shall bring forth the headstone.
You know what a headstone is, right?
Salakia, sir, is that like for the grave?
That's what it is. Go ahead, Levi.
If I may, sir, Daniel is given the Babylonian name Belteshazzar. Belteshazzar.
And I believe that's because he destroys Baal. You can look that one up and what that means. That's different, right? The Babylonians gave him that name. That's off topic. It just jogged my memory, all right? You get the same point. The mountain in front of him is going flat. He thinks the mountain will protect him, right? Imagine if there was a mountain in front of you. You, in military sense, you would believe you're safe, like the Alps or some mountain range. You would believe your enemy cannot get to you because you're protected by the sea, protected by the mountains. Well, he's saying that the mountain in front of Zerubbabel is going to become flat. It's going to become, a plain, which means your enemies will get through it. The enemies will attack you. You don't have any protection at all from the Most High's spirit. Continue.
And he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings, crying, Grace, grace unto it.
What does that mean? He shall bring forth a headstone, which is a gravestone, with crying, meaning yelling and screaming, crying, saying, grace, grace unto it. Now, how would you translate that term today? Now, just see the visualization in your head. The mountain that was protecting you is flat. And now you have a headstone in your hands, screaming, yelling, saying, grace unto it, grace unto it. Asher.
Asking for forgiveness?
Give him a hand. That's what that means. Please don't kill me. Please give me mercy. Please give me grace. You understand?
Colonel Concert, the water.
Anything else, Kaleem?
Khan, sir, I have a question. I was scrolling on TikTok, and this ex-Christian pastor, he tried to use the law of jealousy to say that God condones abortions, which,
God.
yeah, Khan, sir. So, yeah, I'm planning to make a rebuttal video against him. And I was seeing if there was a clear cut. This in Numbers chapter 5.
One he used.
I'm using he's using Numbers chapter 5 verses, I believe, 19 through.
This is the proof of abortion. Is that what he said? This scripture is a scripture that validates abortion. That says God approves of killing a baby in the womb. Correct?
God, sir.
All right, go ahead and read.
All right, this is Numbers chapter 5, verse 19. And the priest shall charge her by an oath and say unto the woman,
let's go above it. Go above it. 2 verses.
Numbers 5 and verse 17. And the priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel.
2 more verses.
Come. Numbers chapter 5, verse 15. Then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest.
One more verse.
Come.
You want to start me off where the whole thing starts.
All right, come, sir. I got you.
That's what he's trying to get.
Numbers chapter 5, verse 11. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man's wife go aside and commit a trespass against him, that a man lie with her carnally, and he be hid from the eyes of her husband.
What's this about? What's this about? If any man believes that his wife has committed a trespass against him, in that she has lied with another man against his eyes, meaning where he didn't see it. So what is that called today?
She's cheating.
She's cheating on him.
Right.
She's cheating on him, right? That's what anybody in the world would say. And the UPK, we would use the old word, and we would call her a whore.
Right.
You understand, right?
Count.
But we're old-fashioned like that.
That's right.
We could just call her a whore or a slut.
That's right.
But even the Christian preacher is using this precept. So this is the precept that says, this is the test to see if your woman is a slut or a whore or cheating on you or committing adultery or sleeping with another man. Go ahead.
Count. Top of 13. And a man lie with her carnally, and it be hid from the eyes of her husband.
So the husband doesn't know about it, right? He's not sure. He has some suspicion, which is why it's been called the law. Why it's called the law of jealousy, because you don't know if she's had sex with another man. You're suspicious. That happens all the time when you're in the world. That does not happen to a marriage in the UPK. You're married to a UPK. You're not supposed to ever wonder or think that she might be committing adultery. Right. If you're thinking it, either you're crazy or your wife is not being wife enough to you.
That's right.
All right, but this is not something that should occur. But of course, in the nation, if everyone is deciding to do their own will, then you might have a woman who's a slut and a whore, a woman who cheats on you. If you think it, but you have no proof, you would go to the priest and they would perform a test. Keep going.
And be kept closed, and she be defiled, and there be no
What?
witness,
What?
and she be defiled,
Be what?
and she be defiled.
So you're wondering if she's defiled. What does defiled mean? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, unclean. You're wondering if she's a whore and if she's filthy, if she's defiled. Keep going.
Count on one count. And there be no witness against her.
But there's no one that saw it, so you don't know. Go ahead.
Neither she be taken with the manner.
Meaning she wasn't caught in the act of adultery, the way that they caught the woman in the act in the New Testament. Continue.
Count on one count. Verse 14. And the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife.
Once again, that's another precept to show you what a spirit is. A spirit is a vibe, a personality. So now, because of this, you got some suspicions, but you don't have proof enough to stone her. In the old days, you don't have proof enough for that. In today's world, you would just simply leave her. If a woman is a slut or a whore, you would just leave her if you have proof that she has committed adultery or she has cheated on you. You must leave her. You don't have a choice. You cannot continue to be with a woman who has cheated on you. It's in the Bible. Everyone understands. Continue.
And he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled.
And she be what? She be what?
And she be defiled.
Go ahead.
Or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled.
But then you might be a brother who's jealous, and your wife did not commit adultery. You're just nuts. Some brothers are out of their goddamn minds. You marry some old crazy nut brother who thinks every time his wife goes to work, she's sleeping with someone. Why? Because his last girlfriend was sleeping with the guys on her job. Dang. So now he thinks it's going to happen again, and he goes out of his goddamn mind, and he might persecute an innocent woman. And that's why this law is in the Bible, to find out whether or not she's innocent or if she's a defiled slut, a whore who cheats on her husband. Go ahead.
Count on one count. Verse 15. Then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest, and he shall bring her offering for her, the 10th part for the ephah of barley meal. He shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense thereon, for it is an offering of jealousy, an offering of memorial, bringing iniquity to remembrance.
Keep going. Bringing iniquity to remembrance, meaning what? This is an investigation to bring iniquity to remembrance, meaning you believe your wife committed an act of iniquity, a sin, and you need it brought up. You need it remembered. So this is what you pay to get the school to do this investigation for you. Everyone understands.
Count on one count.
Go ahead.
Verse 16. And the priest shall bring her near and set her before the Lord. And the priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel, and of the dust that is in the floor of the tabernacle, the priest shall take.
So they would take a vessel, earthen vessel, meaning a vessel made out of clay. And they would put water in the vessel. And then they would sweep the floor of the temple. Sweep it up. And they would put the dirt or the dust from the floor of the temple, and they would mix it with the water and then give it to the broad to drink. Everybody understands.
Sir.
Go ahead.
And put it into the water. And the priest shall set the woman before the Lord and uncover the woman's head.
You know what that means when it says before the Lord, meaning in the temple, in front of the altar. Right there, on dead center, on stage one. That's before the Most High, before the temple, at a certain place before the temple, meaning where the service is done, like this table right here. Everyone understands.
Sir.
Go ahead, Ak.
And put the offering of memorial in her hands, which is the jealousy offering. Mm-hmm. And the priest shall have in his hand the bitter water that causeth the curse.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 19. And the priest shall charge her by an oath, and say unto the woman, if no man have lain with thee, And if thou hast not gone aside to uncleanness with another instead of thy husband.
Going aside to uncleanness. Now tell me, where did the preacher start? What verse did he start in?
He kind of got the whole thing too, like this. Sir.
All right, go ahead. Keep going.
He goes all the way down to, I believe, 24 or lower.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Let me get back where I was at. Was it 18?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, 19. And if thou hast not gone aside to uncleanness with another instead of thy husband, be thou free from this bitter water that causeth the curse.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 20. And if thou hast gone aside to another instead of thy husband, and if thou be defiled, and some man have lain with thee beside thine husband. Verse 21. Then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing, and the priest shall say unto the woman, the Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people.
You get that? Meaning, if you did this, then you're going to be cursed. If you did not do this, then you won't be cursed. But if you did this, you'll be cursed by an oath, because you have said you did not do it. And so if you take this water and drink it, then you did commit adultery, then you're going to be cursed. Continue.
Count one. Salakia. The Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people, when the Lord doth make thy thigh to rot and thy belly to swell.
Thy thigh to rot and thy belly to swell. Meaning she's going to get ill, sick from the dust of the temple floor mingled with water. If she drinks this water and she is a whore, right? She's going to get sick. She's going to be sick and a curse from her people forever. She's going to die. Continue.
And this water that causeth the curse shall go into thy bowels to make thy belly to swell and thy thigh to rot. And the woman shall say, Aman.
She'll say, Aman, meaning so be it, meaning do it. I'm not a whore. I didn't do it. So if I drink this water and I'm a whore, imagine what you would call today gangrene, all in your leg. And there's all kinds of gastro-abdominal nonsense that'll make your belly swell from gases and all kinds of terrible things you can ask a doctor about that will cause your belly to swell with gases that will cause you to die. Continue.
Verse 23. And the priest shall write these curses in a book, and he shall blot them out with the bitter water. And he shall cause the woman to drink the bitter water that causeth the curse. And the water that causeth the curse shall enter into her and become bitter. And the priest shall take the jealousy offering out of the woman's hands and shall wave the offering before the Lord and offer it upon the altar. Okay, I think he goes to.
Okay, so the preacher is saying what?
He's saying that this law shows that the Lord ordains the killing of babies. There's a part, I think in 27, where it says it's really just like a it's really about a woman cheating. I know that, sir. But I'm looking for like a strong cut.
Of course, it doesn't say anything about a baby, right?
Right.
Or killing any baby. But if he wants it, fine. Whatever woman out there that has an abortion is a defiled, unclean whore. If he wants to go there, I'll join him. Is that what is that what he's trying to say? Because of course, this precept is trying to determine who's a whore and who's not. And her belly swells because she is defiled and a whore. So is he saying that any woman who has an abortion is defiled? Is that what he's saying?
I suppose so by this verse, sir.
Well, that's what he's saying. The question I'm asking, you do this to him. Come. Right to the defiled precept right in front of him, right into the she's cheating, she's a adulteress. Go right there and say, are you saying that this is about abortion? So are you saying that any woman who has an abortion is defiled, is unclean, is cheating on her husband, is a whore? Is that what you're saying? And he'll go, whatever, Hubbard, I ain't trying to say that. And then when he does that, you go straight, read it right in front of him. You read where it says up top. You go right to, she is defiled. He is defiled who have laid with another man, who have trespassed. Are you saying that every woman who had an abortion, that the baby is from a man she was cheating with another man with? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying the baby wasn't yours and that's why she's having an abortion? Because the baby is not his, because this is an act of adultery. Is that what you're saying? And you just do that and berate him until he cries. And just keep asking him this question. He pulled this precept, and this precept, when you read it, is right there in front of you, is about determining whether or not a woman cheated on her husband, had sex with another man. If you're telling me that every woman who has an abortion cheated on her man, okay, fine. no sweat. All right. If not, I'll give you about 100 precepts proving that abortion is wrong, which is my plan to do tonight. Everyone understands, all right? And of course, in a battle, you can just say, all right, well, just show me the baby part. Just point to the part about the baby.
Right.
Wait, and just wait. Say it like, okay, well, just show me the baby and then I'll move on. And wait for him to squirm and scramble. Anything else?
Blah, sir. That's the one.
Solid. Next.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, any other zones got questions? Houston?
I think we got another.
Who got a question real quick? Talk. All right.
Houston, any questions?
Give Houston a hand. I don't think I shouted them out earlier, did I?
No.
Houston a hand.
Chicago as well.
Give Chicago a hand. They up in here. Chicago was the first cookout, right?
Yes. The
Fire weekend. Say again.
The 21st to the 24th.
21st to the 24th. Fire weekend, Chicago, and of course Houston. Who has a question?
Charlotte is on here as well.
Charlotte, give Charlotte, North Carolina a hand.
And Nashville.
Give Nashville a hand. Come on with it.
Chicago, any questions?
Nashville has a lecture or something coming up. Or am I thinking
July
about
16th?
July 16th for the lecture out in Nashville. The officer out there, give them a hand.
He's on the screen right now.
It's on there, solid.
Officer
in the shock. Most High in Christ, give him a hand. All right. Any questions?
Charlotte, any questions? Nashville, any questions? Charlotte, we can't hear you. Hold on one second.
La.
No.
Say it one more time, Mark. He said La. Okay.
Okay, so I have a question.
Like if I may.
Say it one more time, Mark.
Salaki, sir, if I may.
Go ahead, Mark.
Salaki, if I may.
Turn it down on the background.
Salaki, General, I got a question on Isaiah chapter 34. Salaki, sir, if I may.
Go ahead, Mark.
Houston, you got to lower the volume in the back.
Isaiah chapter 34.
Houston, you got to lower the volume in the back.
Can you hear now, sir?
I hear you fine now.
Go ahead, Houston.
Okay. Salaki, sir. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 34. Just a general breakdown on specifically on the owl and the raven. I'll start at verse 8. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 8. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. Verse 9, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. Verse 10, it shall not be quenched night nor day, the smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation, it shall lie waste, none shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it, The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness.
I'm sorry. What's your
Like
question?
the question more so on verse 11.
Go ahead and read that. Read verse 11 out. We having a problem? I'm gonna have to move on.
Verse 11.
I don't know if he can even hear it though. What was the other one I asked you about?
You asked me about Mark 9 verses 48 to 50.
Okay, if not, we're gonna go on to. If Houston doesn't respond, we're gonna go on to that one and then do his question when he comes back. All right.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead, Houston. Can you hear us?
Come.
Salakia.
Charlotte, hold on one second,
Just
Charlotte.
wait. Only Houston. Everyone else, put your phones on. Put your computers on mute. All right. Go ahead, Houston. Are you there?
Come, sir.
All right. What was your question?
On verse 11, the owl and the raven, the emptiness.
Right. The owl and the raven. Meaning, do you understand the whole part about the pitch and all that?
Come, sir.
Meaning, this place used to be a city. Now it's going to be a lake of fire. It's going to be destroyed forever. No people will be there anymore. It's going to be brimstone and pitch. Do you know what pitch is?
Salakia, sir. Is it silence?
No, pitch is not silence. Pitch is tar. Tar, like bubbling tar. Which there are some places where you can just find that, a bubbling oil pit. So they got them out there in LA. Tar pits, right? You know what a tar pit is? You ever heard that before?
Come, sir.
Tar pit, like the La Brea tar pits out there in California and Los Angeles, where it's just an ancient hole of tar bubbling up from the ground because oil bubbles up from the ground. So in essence, pitch is like, dirt and oil all combined, and it's tar. Okay, it's tar. So this place is just full of tar and fire and smoldering rock like a volcano. So because of the conditions there, now people no longer live there. It was an amazing city. Now all the people are gone because of the volcanoes and the boiling tar pits and the fire. And now the people are gone. And it's going to be like that for generation after generation. And eventually the only thing that will be there are the owls and the cormorant. A cormorant is like a bird a cormorant lives up there in Sweden or something like that. Oh, look at it. I think it's a black and white bird with maybe a colorful beak, a cormorant. And it lives in secluded, desolate places, this cormorant bird. Meaning now this place is just a home of animals, and owls, but no people are there anymore. It becomes desolated, where you'll find snakes and owls and birds and no people because of the great destruction of the Lord our God. You understand?
Come, sir. The water.
No sweat. What was the other one? Charlotte? Is that what you said?
Charlotte, sir.
Charlotte, you're up.
So Salakia, sir, I had a statement, if I could.
Please.
Salakia, I know the general might bring it out, but the more and more, the Hispanic people, I've been in this truth for like 6-7 years.
Yeah,
and the more I'm in here, I realize just seeing the news. I know you heard about the 50 Hispanic brothers that died in that truck, man, and it just proved to me more and more that like the Lord's people is hated because nobody make no big deal out of it. And
nobody gives a damn, and there's a great portion of people in America who are happy about it, who wanted it to happen. And that's something I just came back from Canada, man, and the death and the destruction that our brothers, the so-called North American Indians, are going through up there is insane, and being kidnapped, brother, at an epidemic rate. And on the news over there, it's just like the news here in America. Every terrible thing in the news is blacks and Hispanics in America. In Canada, every terrible thing is blacks and indigenous people. Blacks and indigenous people. because we're suffering in a Holocaust and dying and being kidnapped. And that was almost 50 brothers and sisters, brother, who died in the back of a trunk, in the back of a tractor trailer from the heat, which in essence, they cooked to death. That's literally what those brothers and sisters went through in that truck. They cooked to death like in an oven. Like, think of being in an oven and you in that oven until you cook and die. And that's what happened to 50 people today. And they could care less. And there is a great number of people, especially in America, who are happy about it. Like, they're hoping that things like that will discourage them from trying to get into America. And they're happy that they died. And of course, like the officer is saying, besides Commanding General Yohana, there would be no love for the Mexicans at all. Please believe that. There is no one that loves the Mexicans more than Commanding General Yohana. There is no one that loves the so-called North American Indian more than Commanding General Yohana. Without him and the work that you're doing, Lahab and other brothers out there in ISUPK Mexico, that hardcore warrior, Yashikar out there, no one would give a damn about Mexicans. They look at Mexicans like they're a nuisance on the side of the road. Right. Like there's someone that are just like a nuisance people who you have to run into outside of Home Depot, like permanent slaves. The same way they looked at you a few years ago down south. Like, hold your points. Like just a nuisance people. But because of the UPK out, the Mexicans will find out the greatest thing that could ever be known to any man, that you are the children of Israel, children of the one true living God, and Jesus Christ died for the Mexicans. Rocketay, how are you? How was shot? Let me get a Baji in headquarters. You got it. Yeah, it was someone trying to transport them over into America, and you can imagine how much money they scraped together to be able to give their children a better life. And that's the thing about our restaurant. They just cannot understand why someone would do things like that to come to America, because they want a better life, even though they did the exact same thing coming from Europe, coming from Ireland. They did the exact same thing. But when Mexicans try to do something to give their children a future, they're looked at like animals. And so, yes, they were in the back of a truck trying to come to America from somewhere. I can't guarantee that they were Issachar. Lahab, do you know what tribe they were?
So like, I think there was it might have been some Issachar brothers in there, but I know there was Zebulon.
Yeah, our brothers and sisters.
And if I could, sir.
Go ahead, Ak.
And if I could, that happens every day, because growing up, they used to make Hispanic movies and Mexican movies per se about people. They used to call them the wagon. It used to be movies called it would be the basis around that. It was called they would be like the wagon of where they would get trapped, not in an 18-wheeler, but in a train wagon, and how they would die trying to. The life in Mexico is so bad from the corruption. And I didn't understand it when I was a child, but I understand it now, that the oppressor is the devil the Bible speak of, and he has all to do with what happens to the 12 tribes. So they would leave Mexico. It didn't matter. Like they were willing to die. Like it was like, I'd rather die than live another day like this.
That's right. That's right, because our oppressor makes the countries around America hell. He turns them into hellish places on purpose so that they can't threaten him militarily. So now America has no threat from Cuba or any of the Caribbean islands or anything else. They're totally secure. The Caribbean islands can't survive without American help and aid. And that's by design. But the problem is, to do that, you have to make this brother's country an absolute unlivable hellhole. But in the process, you'll feel completely safe. You'll feel safe with them at your border. Let me get the warrior right here. Go ahead, That's it. Cheap labor. That's it. Someone to come cut their grass. And so them dying in a truck is not even like people died. You know, it's nothing. But it matters in the Israelite school of UPK, brother. And here it matters because we know that God looks down on the tribe of Zebulun, on the people throughout South and Central America, on the tribe of Issachar. God looks down on him, on those tribes, like a father looks down on his children. And unlike America, we love our children. You understand me? God, you might not care about your kids. You'll murder your children in the womb. But God loves his children. God cares for his children. And he loves the Mexicans, man. And he loves the people from South and Central America. And each one of their lives is precious to him. Every one of their hairs upon their heads is accounted for. So through water, Lahab, was there anything else up?
If I could, sir, and it, like I said, it confirms to me more. It confirms to me more that we are the children of the living power, because it reminds me of when I came into the truth, how the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, the tribe of Levi were in those ships, and how they died in that heat and in their feces and in their urine. It confirmed to me, like, look, the children of Israel together, we going through the struggle, whether it was in 1600s or whether it's 2022. The Lord, we getting punished together, but the Lord will redeem us together.
Give him a hand. Absolutely. We're getting punished together, but the Most High will redeem us together. Well said, Issachar. Well said. Anything else? Charlotte, you're up.
Anything else, Charlotte? No, thanks, sir.
So let me get the precept the brother asked me.
Sir. Sir.
I believe it was Mark. It was Mark chapter 9, verses 48 to 50, sir.
Sounds right. Let's do that quickly, all right, for the brother. I'm not sure about his question. If you're listening in, brother, you can help me to understand your question. But he just asked me to break this down.
Mark chapter 9, verse 48 to 50.
Go ahead.
Mark, you said 48, right? 48. Mark chapter 9, verse 48. Where the worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched. 49. But everyone shall be salted with fire, and every sacrifice shall be salted with salt.
See, I'm not sure of what his question is.
Sir, his question, what he texted me earlier. This is I believe it's also Law Come.
Uh-huh.
He just wanted a general breakdown, sir.
Where are we again?
50. Mark 9, verse 48 through 50.
Mark 9 and 48. Bear with me 1 second. I got you. Not quite. Hold on 1 second now. Okay, you probably need to start at 47, all right? Go ahead.
Verse 47.
No, I'm sorry. Wait, not there. Salaki. Let me go. I might need to go up. Maybe. 42. Go ahead, you got that.
Verse 42. And whosoever shall offend
One
one
more,
of these little ones that believe in me, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck.
Let me give you the point. This is the point, right? This is the spirit of the law. This is what you're reading about. Christ is trying to warn anyone who is thinking about harming any of his disciples that if you harm any of his disciples, you're going to be put to death. You're going to die. He's trying to let his disciples know that they're safe, they're protected. Because as they go, as he's about to leave, and as they're about to be sent out to teach, they're going to be in a dangerous situation, going to a lot of dangerous places. Please believe, those of you in the world who are out there watching it, and you see the Israelite school of UPK on your street corners or walking down your cities, just know that whoever harms those men is going to get put to death. And that's a fact. They're going to die. Trying to harm a man in the UPK, doing something like that, you hazard your life for doing something like that. You put your life in hazard, all right? And every one of you brothers that has to go out to different cities and different areas to go teach, and you're sent there by men who love people in that city and know that they must be found, you're safe. You're safe because the Most High is watching over you, and the Most High is looking closely at anyone who would dare harm you. That's the point. That's the point. Now read it one more time and then read it all the way down.
Verse 42. And whosoever shall offend one of these little
Whosoever shall offend. That's correct. Go ahead.
one of these little
Who are his little ones? The disciples. Now, do you notice the metaphor? What's the metaphor? Children. You see, in this evil country, and America is not the only country that has abortion. Every so-called westernized country has abortion, and China has abortion. Hold your point. And China has abortion, right? But abortion is popular everywhere. Everywhere, it's very popular. It's a very efficient and logical way to manage society, abortion, right? Everyone does it. But in the nation of Israel, we love our children. We love them. And Christ is trying to show you throughout a warrior that he loves the 12 disciples like a father loves his children. These are my little ones. My little ones. And anyone who harms them is going to die. That's how Christ feels about the brothers in the UPK, man. These priests who sacrifice everything so that Mexicans don't have to die in the back of a truck, so that Haitians don't have to starve under a bridge, so that brothers in Brooklyn and in the Bronx don't have to fill the prisons up and fill up Rikers Island until you die in a prison from getting no medical care. You'll sit in some goddamn cell in Rikers Island, bleeding and sick, and no one will ever come to help you at all. The babies that are born in the women's prison adjacent to Rikers Island, that will live their entire lives in prison, never getting to see a judge, never getting due process. This school is built for them, and God loves his children. God loves his little ones. He doesn't murder them. He doesn't abort them. He protects them. That's the point. Continue.
It is better for him that a milestone will hang about his neck.
So if you're thinking about harming one of my babies, it's better for you that a millstone be hung about your neck. Someone put a millstone up on the screen so you can visualize this. A millstone is something pushed by a donkey or a horse, right? They pull it in a circle all day. And the reason that an animal or an ox pulls it is because it is big and heavy ox. It's a giant thing. Samson pushed it when they were trying to punish him for standing up to his adversaries. He pushed the millstone, but a millstone is a thing that an animal pushes, a beast of burden, because it's so goddamn heavy. You have it yet?
That's just a 10-second delay.
Okay, solid. So you see it right there, right? An animal pulls that thing. Show it to me with an animal pulling it. That's a perfect one right there. That one right there. That one you might be able to get some scope of how big it is. The one up top. That one you might give you some scope too of how big the damn thing is.
Which one? Sorry, remember that's a 10-second delay.
No problem. That's a small one pushed by a little cat making the corn tortillas out of that one. That's what that brother's doing right there. Usually they would grind wheat up in it, and it's big and heavy, and they get a donkey to pull it. All right? Well, if you're thinking about harming one of God's children, one of the disciples of Christ, one of his little ones, you should just hang one of these around your neck. Keep going.
And he will cast it till the sea.
It's better that you just hang this giant, this thing might be a ton, this stone. Hang it around your damn neck. Hold on one second. Shalom, may I help you? Give me 1 second. I'm in class. I'll call you right back.
Like this, sir?
There you go. That's the perfect one right there. Right on the end. The last one over there. Or any one over the donkey. That thing is heavy. That's the point, all right? That's a heavy thing. And it's better if you're thinking about harming one of the disciples of Christ, just hang that thing around your neck and somebody should throw you in the river. That's better, because the thing that is going to happen to you for trying to harm a disciple of Christ, it's better to die like that. That's the point. Continue.
43. If thy hand offend thee, cut it off.
If thy right hand offend thee, cut it off. Once again, they're going out to teach. The first thing he's trying to tell them is that, listen, man, whoever is thinking about harming you, I'm going to kill in a gruesome way. I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to do it biblically, brother. You understand? You're going to get a biblical death. And I've seen some biblical deaths happen to people who dared to harm one of the disciples of Christ in here. I mean, biblical deaths. Right here in Harlem. I've seen it. And you'll see it again. That's the first thing you got to understand, is that you're protected. The next thing you better understand when you go out to teach is what? Is that if something is stopping you from going out to teach, if something is trying to, go against your work, get rid of it. Cut it off. Cut it off. If thy right hand offend thee, cut it off. Now, why is the Most High saying right hand? Because your right hand is important to you. It's important. It's how you write. It's how you fight. It's how you do everything. Well, Shalom warrior. The water for everything again. Most High in Christ. Even though with your right hand is so important to you, it is not more important than the work of Christ. Get rid of it. A lot of you have 1,000 things in your life that are really holding you back from being the kind of priest that you should be. Get rid of it, man. A lot of you all in love with some bitch, some old slut, who doesn't want you, who can't stand you, who's a whore. And for your love of her, you can't get to camp. You can't do anything because you're constantly afraid that you will just be an Israelite too much for her taste. You don't want to be so UPK. You gotta push down your UPK a little bit, because if not, this slut might not talk to you. She might not forget her, man. If thy right hand offend thee, cut it off. Get rid of it. Keep going.
It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having 2 hands to go into hell.
It's better that you enter into life maimed. The word maimed means like marred or cut or disabled. So now it's better that you live forever with 1 hand than that you die in hell with 2 hands. And that's what happens to you. This is a metaphor about people and addictions, things you can't stop doing. Right? There are people in your life who are very important to you, but these people are going to cause you to go into hell. What is hell? A terrible condition right here on earth. And there is a person that pushes you into a terrible condition. Get rid of her. Get rid of him. There is a thing that pushes you into a terrible condition. Drugs is another thing like that. God damn it. Isn't it better to live forever not ever having weed than to have a terrible life getting high all day? Like, do you understand that drugs are stopping you from experiencing a good life, but you are getting high every day? So you're in essence trading a good life for a terrible life that has weed in it. And you make that exchange as if it makes any goddamn sense. If you gave up weed, you would enter into life. You would have a good life. Alcoholism. So many of you are goddamn alcoholics and you're living a terrible life. But if someone tries to get you off of alcohol, in your mind, that's a worse life. It's like your life not getting the drink is terrible. So you're choosing this hellish existence because this hellish existence includes alcoholism. And you just trade a good life for a life with your drug, with your addiction. Come on.
Sir, I was just told what planet I come from because I don't smoke weed.
I got you. I totally understand. What planet do you come from? The person asking you that out has made a choice that they will never experience the kind of life that you live because that life has to include weed. And you think about the kind of life that is, and you know it already because you lived it. A life of going in and out of jail, making the dumbest decisions in the world, making decisions that could only end up in a terrible outcome, all because you're high all the goddamn time. Get rid of it. Get rid of alcoholism. Cut it off. Get rid of drug addiction. Cut it off. Get rid of some other man's woman who you think is your woman. Cut it off. Get rid of it. Continue.
Into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched.
Here we go. Into the fire that never quenches. This is how you know this is not talking about physical fire. This is hell. This is a condition that never ends. See, if I was in actual fire, that's better because someone could come put that fire out. Hell, call a fireman, throw some water up on me. But how do you put out drug addiction? Ooh, it's been going on a while. I think your father was a drug addict, right? Your grandfather? How far would I have to go back to have someone in your family without an addiction? That's pretty far. Right? Yeah. That's pretty far if you think about it. To find a man who wasn't an alcoholic, who wasn't on crack or heroin, didn't smoke cigarettes. Damn, you might, I don't know how far you would have to go, but you'd have to go pretty far. You see, that's a fire that doesn't get quenched. You understand? That's a fire that never gets put out. That yearning for drugs. To find a woman in your family who isn't a whore. And a lot of you suffer. If your mother was promiscuous, that's a rough situation to grow up in now. If you grew up where your mother had all kinds of men around, if none of your brothers and sisters none of y'all look alike. None of you. You can't even tell you're related. And you grow up in a home, that's what I had to do today. They asked me for the breakdown on that video where some cat didn't get somebody McDonald's or something, right?
Yeah.
So remind me to do that, the breakdown on that too, before I do the abortion. On the whole, that video resonated with everybody because that was you. That was you and your brothers and sisters, and you got a parade of men coming in to see each one of y'all. Y'all arguing over whose daddy comes to see the one more. The house is really so divided over whose daddy comes and whose daddy doesn't come. And then the one daddy, he got to feel sorry for everybody. He just got to take everybody to the damn circus, or he got to bring everybody to McDonald's because you live in this is a sad situation. Like imagine the locker. Imagine this is your life. Here, let me describe your life. Your life, imagine from the kid's perspective. Your life is my brother, his daddy bring the cheeseburger and French fry. My sister, her daddy bring cheeseburger and French fry and chicken nugget. My daddy don't even come, so I didn't got no cheeseburger and chicken nugget. So your whole life is who? Do you have the daddy that will bring the chicken nuggets in? Or do you have one of the daddies that will not give the chicken nuggets? And you're sitting there, and the woman is mad at you because she needs all of the men to bring in the proper amount of chicken nuggets to all of the kids. That is your life. You telling me that's how you want to live? Is that it? So life is going to be of making sure that all of the baby's daddies bring a 20-pack in, which is the only solution now. You got to get the 20 nuggets out. You got to go get that 20 piece. Okay, here's a solution. You know that the woman you chose has 5 kids. One of them is yours. You got to get 2 of them 20 pieces out. Bring that 40 piece in that crib out. I don't see what other choice you have. Okay, I don't see what else you're going to do about it because you've chosen to get in line behind all the rest of these cats and to have a baby with her. You're going to have to bring 2 20 pieces up there into the crib. Or you could stop getting high and choose better women. Or you could stop getting high and stop being a whore. Like there are things you could cut off in your life that would make your life better. Or you can just be satisfied with the filth you live in. It's better to get rid of it. It's better to not be in that fire that never gets quenched. Continue.
44, where the worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched.
Now, why is he saying this? Where the worm doesn't die and where the fire does not get quenched. What's the point? What is he trying to tell you, stupid Christian bitches? Excuse my language. What is he trying to tell you? Come on, Levi.
If I may, sir, he's basically saying if you don't get rid of this evil thing that's stopping you to do the Lord's will, the worm is gonna still come into your life. That fire is gonna still burn your butt, your behind.
You're almost there. You're right. Come on, about you. That's true. But this worm, what? This worm doesn't die. So what worm wouldn't die? No worm would not die. Worms aren't immortal. So what does that tell you then? This is not physical death. That's the point. If you don't get rid of drug addiction, alcoholism, being a whore, prostitutes, finding whores on Facebook to have sex with, if you don't get rid of those things, then you're going to live a life that is worse than death. It's worse than death because this worm doesn't die. This fire, you can't put water on it because this is not physical death. This is spiritual death. This is terrible, right? This is the kind of life that makes you want to die. Now, everybody knows what I mean then, right? If you're living a life where you want to commit suicide, where you want to put a gun in your mouth, and you want to cut your wrist and cut yourself, what does that tell you about the life that you have? That should tell you something, right? In your mind, this life is so terrible that death would be better. Well, there's only one way to have a better life. Get rid of the thing that you refuse to get rid of. And then your life is better. Now it's a wonderful life because if you think that you can continue to hold on to this thing because you don't want to lose it, you're going to wish you were dead because this worm doesn't die. This worm that eats you never dies. This fire that you're burning in, it can't be put out because it's not real fire. It's spiritual. Because there is no place where you burn underground. That is not real. That doesn't exist. But there is a hell that you can live in right now, tonight, when you go home. Everyone understands. Come on.
I was gonna say, sir, I had that same conversation with my younger cousin earlier this week, and it really all results, you gotta start making better. You know everything that's going wrong, so why don't you start making better decisions? And it's like there's no need or urge to make better decisions,
Well, in actuality, there is a need of urge to make better decisions, but everybody knows what they'd have to do is more than they want to do. It's like paying for something. They don't want to pay for it. Let me give you some more understanding on abortion, if I could. I'll get you 1 second. Okay, many girls who have abortions, right? And you'll make an argument to them about their baby and how they shouldn't do it and how it's murder. And by this time out, virtually every woman knows that baby is alive and they're killing that baby. That's not even really a debate anymore because of ultrasounds. Because everyone can see that baby and they know that baby is alive. But in the back of a lot of women's minds, they know that they don't want to bring this baby into this life that they're living because their life is hell. And so the thought of like having a child means bring a child here to live in my mother's home. And living in my mother's home is terrible because my mother speaks to me like I'm a slut and a whore and a dirty, filthy, bitch every day. And my mother's boyfriend molested me. And every day is hell. So in essence, killing a child is better than the kind of life that they think they could provide for that child. And everyone knows what I'm talking about. All right. There's one way to fix it. Cut off your mother. You understand? Cut her off. Cut that mother off that's bringing you down and destroying your self-esteem. Get her out of your life because survival is everything. And in the UPK, we don't teach brothers and sisters to neglect their parents, even though they're in the world. And we don't teach you that you have to hate your brothers and sisters who you are physically related to. But we do teach you to survive. Everything has to survive. And if it comes down to survival or friendship with my homie, get rid of the friendship. If it comes down to survival or talking to my mom every day, Don't call your mom every day, because it's better that you enter into life with one hand than to live in hell with two. Everyone understands. Let me keep going. Next. Go ahead, Abaji. Go ahead. I'm not sure if I'm done here yet, though. Am I done here or not? I think that's enough. Take me straight to his question now.
It's just a breakdown on 48 to 50.
Go ahead. Hazar? Go ahead. No, you're thinking too much about that. The worm doesn't die. The fire can't be quenched. That's the point. The point is, if I was on fire, someone could put it out. You understand? Like, if this room was on fire, it wouldn't mean we were all going to die. Why? Because a fireman could come in, or we could get the fire extinguisher we gotten back and put the fire out, right? That's not that bad a situation but this fire, fire extinguishers don't work on this fire. This is the terrible fire. And the worms that eat dead flesh, eventually that worm will what? Die, because it's a living thing, and all living things die. So when it dies, it won't eat me anymore. But this worm does not die, which means it eats you forever. The point is, this is spiritual death, and it is worse than physical death. It's that terrible. It's hell. It's a hellish condition that never ends. Come on.
This is black talk, basically.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's hot out here. It's burning.
Bingo. That's exactly what it is. It's spiritual, and the point that's trying to be made is this is too terrible for you to not give up the thing that you don't want to give up. It's too terrible. It's just never ending. And if you ever been addicted to anything, that you know what I'm talking about. Like the brothers and sisters on that heroin and on that crack and on that those pills out. For those of you brothers out there taking those pills they love, Percocets. Percocets, that's heroin. That is heroin. You can go look it up. I've done all the research. I went to a conference in Washington, D.C., I think 3 weeks ago, a conference for 3 days, and learned everything about drug addiction, my God. And in there, they said that it is heroin. And that's why it's so addictive, because it's not, heroin and then this is Percocet. It is heroin in pill form. It's the exact same thing that people would shoot into their veins everywhere in Harlem and in the Bronx.
Methadone.
I'm talking about Percocets.
Okay.
I'm talking methadone absolutely is heroin, and Percocets are heroin. That's heroin. I just came back from the conference. You can look it up your damn self. Anything that is a opioid, which is why it's called a opioid, because it comes from opium, because it's heroin. Do you understand? It's heroin in a pill form, and you can't stop, but you must stop, because if you don't stop, your life is going to be hell. Except this burning, you can't put out, and this worm doesn't die. It's a hell that will not stop. It will just continue. And guess what? And because you're a drug addict, because you pop perks and pop pills, your kids are going to do it. If you want the surest indicator to whether or not children will be on drugs, just look at the parent. That's what's going to happen. Your children are going to get high because you do. And then it is nonstop, endless, generation after generation. You understand? Come on. Nice and loud. Well, it's heroin. That much I can guarantee you. That's not hyperbole. That's just a fact. That's what it is. All right. Any opioid is heroin. And that's all. All right. Anything else? Keep reading.
Verse 49. For everyone shall be salted with fire, and every sacrifice shall be salted with salt.
Let me read. Give me 1 second. Bear with me one time. And this is where the question is, right? Mark 9:48.
This is Mark 9 verse 48 to 50, sir. 48
Right.
to 50.
Okay, everyone shall be salted with fire, and every sacrifice shall be salted with salt. Okay. Death, right? The preservation process of death, which Israelites invented. The Egyptians went and took it and made it pagan worship.
Right.
But bodies are mummified with salt.
Right.
Right. Just like if you ever eat beef jerky, just think of beef jerky. Beef jerky, you put some salt on it, now it becomes just dry and hard. Well, that is how you mummify a body to get a body to last without decaying, right?
Right.
Jacob, when Jacob died, his bones were taken from Egypt into the Holy Land, and they salted his body so it could make the trip. Everybody gets it, right?
Right.
Well, in this death, what happens? Your body is what? Read that again.
For everyone shall be salted with fire.
In this death, your body is salted with fire, not with salt. So instead of salt going on your dead corpse to preserve it for some reason, maybe for a trip or the body has to travel somewhere to get to a proper burying place, your body is salted with fire, meaning instead of getting preserved, it gets more burnt.
Right.
And it just keeps going on and on. And the sacrifice, go ahead.
And every sacrifice shall be salted with salt.
Every sacrifice will be salted with salt, meaning, and the sacrifice that's made, how can I not give it to you? The body is salted. You have it, Hazahab? Go ahead.
The sacrifice is yourself.
Give him a hand. That's correct. You're the sacrifice. You're
Right.
being killed. Except the salt that's being used on the sacrifice is what? Fire.
Fire.
So remember, every sacrifice has to be salted with salt, right? Every sacrifice. You're the sacrifice. So you're going to be salted with fire.
Right.
Which means you just keep getting hurt. Keep getting hurt. Keep getting killed. Instead of preserved, instead of made to preserve and last longer like meat that you want to travel or like a dead body, you just get more pain. The pain never ends, which is the point.
Right.
The pain never ends. All right, that's drug addiction. It's a pain that just never ends. Cigarette addiction. Ooh, you just have to have a cigarette every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes. Like if you could fathom how much of your life you devote to smoking, it's wild. Every 20 minutes, every 15 minutes, morning and night. And a lot of you women, you can't have sex without smoking weed. A lot of you women like that. Your wife has to smoke weed to have sex. She can't even just enjoy her husband because she has to be high to have sex. Why? Because she's lost the ability to relax. Now think about that when you want to know what hell is.
Right.
The ability just to go, all right, I'm good to go. She cannot relax without weed, and she can't have sex without relaxing. So she has to smoke weed, or else she cannot relax. She's tense and going crazy without drugs. And that's who you're married to. You're married to that. That's a hell that doesn't end up. It just does not end. You understand?
Con.
All right. That's why Christ said, better a man to gain the world. What profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So if you have everything in the world, but you don't control you anymore, what's the difference then of having anything? Because I'm controlled by drugs. I'm controlled by my mother or father or peers at work or my cousins or Facebook. I'm fine, warrior. I'm controlled by someone else. So what difference does it make to have everything? When I don't make decisions for myself, I'm controlled by something else. They own my soul. Everyone understands.
Con.
Next. Let me get Levi.
So like
Sorry. Go ahead. Up on who is it?
Charlotte.
Charlotte, go ahead.
So, like I said, this is Officer Lahab. Can I get a general breakdown on two scriptures?
Mm-hmm. Come on.
I said, could I get a general breakdown on two scriptures? The first one.
Absolutely. Come on with it, Doc.
The first one is the Nahum 2:5. Nahum chapter 2, verse 5 through 7.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read it, brother.
Ain't no 5 through 7. 2, 5 through 7, 5 through 7. All right, count them, sir. The book of Nahum, chapter 2, verse 5. He shall recount his worthies. They shall stumble in their walk.
I can't hear you, Lee.
They shall make haste.
Where did he say that?
So, like it, sir. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Doc. Come. Let me break it down for you. Where is it at again?
That's Nahum chapter 2, verse 5, sir.
The book of Nahum, chapter 2, verse 5 through 7, sir.
All right, let me just break it down for you. You're having some delays. I'll break it down. Someone read it for him. Nahum 2 and 5.
The book of Nahum, chapter 2, verse 5. He shall recount his worthies. They shall stumble in their walk. They shall make haste to the wall thereof, and the defense shall be prepared.
1 second. I got to let me catch up with you.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I think you're right. Okay. It's only 1 second. I can't remember this part. Did he say the 5 or to 6?
He said 5 to 7, sir.
This one, I'm only about 75% sure. Hold on, let me catch it up again. Okay. I got it. Read 2.
The book of Nahum, chapter 2, verse 2. For the Most High have turned away the excellency of Jacob as the excellency of Israel.
That's the part you need to understand. The Most High has done away with the excellency of Jacob as the excellency of Israel, meaning the Most High is against us. This is about the fall of Jerusalem, the fall of Israel. The Most High is deciding to allow our enemies to overtake us. That's what you need to understand. Go ahead.
For the emptiers have emptied them out.
For the emptiers have emptied them out. That's like saying the thieves have stolen everything. And our oppressor has emptied us out. The Chinese have emptied us out. The Japanese, the Africans, they've stolen everything we have. The emptiers have emptied us out. Go ahead.
And marred their vine branches.
And marred our vine branches, meaning we have beautiful vines growing. But these emptiers, these thieves have cut them. So now all of our beautiful crops and our vegetation that we used to have, it's gone now because it's been stolen. Continue.
Verse 3. The shield of his mighty man is made red.
The shield has a heart. They talk about the what again? Got you. Yeah, you can. Come. Keep going.
The shield of his mighty man is made red.
Meaning the mighty men are talking about the mighty men of the emptiers, the heathens. They're mighty men. They're soldiers. They're cavalry. They're police. Their shields are made red. Why are their shields red? Because our blood is on their shields. Right? We're bleeding on their shields because they're destroying us. They're killing us. Continue.
The valiant men are in scarlet.
The valiant men, meaning men who are brave, they're drenched in blood because they're killing us. So now they're like Christ will be drenched in blood when he returns. The police are drenched in blood now. Right? The soldiers, the border agents, they're drenched in blood now, our blood. Continue.
The chariots shall be with flaming torches.
Right, their chariots have flaming torches coming out their chariots, right? They're weapons of war. Weapons of war that absolutely, destroy us. Flaming arrows coming out of chariots. Keep going.
In the day of his preparation,
Mm-hmm.
and the fir trees shall be terribly shaken.
Right, meaning when he's prepared for war, now the fir trees are shaken because of why? The armies, the chariots with the weapons and the fire and the shields. Keep going.
Verse 4, the chariots shall rage in the streets.
Just imagine being invaded. The police do that right here in New York. I watched the video, brother, I think it was in Brooklyn now, where the police went up into a building in New York and came out with a robot. I said, damn. I said, they're not killing us enough. Pull this video up. It was a robot walked out of the building like RoboCop, a dog. A robot dog. And can you imagine the one? Say again?
Was it yellow?
It was a robot dog. Hell, how many of those can it be? Pull that up. I said, can you imagine the budget that they have in New York? It's like a country. It's like the budget of a country when you can just go and you want to invade, right? You want to go and, kick in the door of a project department in Brooklyn and you bring a robot up the damn stairs.
This one. Yeah, it was I know MIT was working on it. They created a yellow one.
Where's it at?
It's a 10-second delay.
Oh.
The MIT was working on that for a while, and they made the first prototype, which was yellow. And then about a year ago, the NYPD had an all blue one, but it was painted blue over the yellow.
Is this the one that came out of the project building?
Yes.
Play the video for everybody.
The video, okay. I got the image right here.
You got a bad delay tonight.
No, this is right here on YouTube. It's always a 10-15 second delay.
Show me the video of the thing coming out the projects.
Come on, sir.
The thing went on a damn arrest.
Right here.
It's been a rough year for the NYPD. Crime is reaching record levels in the city, and today, the newest bot in blue was sent out to its first crime scene.
That thing is creepy.
Meet DigiDog, the newest member of the NYPD's Technical Assistance Response Unit. Yes, a robot dog that's hounding city streets, assisting its handlers in saving lives and protecting New York's finest.
It allows the NYPD to have eyes and ears and also talk to individuals in life-threatening situations. This allows them to...
So now you in your projects and a robot come and kick in the door. A robot dog jumps on you and gnaws you to goddamn death. And in Dallas, there was a brother who was shooting at the cops, which he should not have been shooting at the cops, all right? But they sent a robot in with a pizza. The cat was hungry, and they blew him up. It was C4 in the pizza box. Yeah, go look it up. The cat said, I'm hungry. They said, listen, no problem. We're going to send you in a big old large pizza. No sweat. No problem. Just wait right there. It's going to be hot. Don't worry. The robot took a goddamn pizza into the man and blew his ass up with C4, not in Iraq, not in Afghanistan, in Dallas, and blew him up. Now that's your enemy. That's him. And his weapons just get worse and worse, and you get more sickly every day. And yet his weapons increase. Continue.
The chariots shall rage in the streets. They shall jostle one against another.
So meaning so many chariots that the chariots are jostling against each other because there's so many of them. So it's chariots all bunched in together, trying to get into your neighborhood to kill you. Go ahead.
In the broad ways.
In the Broadway. So imagine the street is wide, but there's so many chariots that they're bumping into each other. Continue.
They shall seem like torches.
Oh my God. You're going to look at them afar off. You'll think that's just torches, but it's not. It's lights. It's lights from all of the mechanized war machines coming down your street to kill you. Keep going.
They shall run like lightnings.
Keep going.
Verse 5. He shall recount his worthies.
And then when he gets there, he recounts his worthies. Who knows what that's about? I mean, now all of them got war stories. Yeah, I arrested 3 of them in Brooklyn the other day. Yeah, I kicked in the door yesterday at his house in Harlem. Then all of these cops and these military nuts get to tell all their stories about how worthy they are. Continue.
They shall stumble in their walk.
They stumble in their walk. Keep once again, why? Because it's so many of them. So they're jostling against each other. As they're trying to march, they're stumbling because it's so many of them coming into your neighborhood. Continue.
They shall make haste in the wall thereof.
You get that? They'll make haste to the wall, you said?
To the wall thereof.
Yeah, they run to that wall. Continue.
And the defense shall be prepared.
Keep going.
Verse 6. The gates of the rivers shall be open.
All of that is the same thing. Talking about the fall of Jerusalem, how the whole war, you can use it for the past, you can use it for the present. Done. Next. Somebody said something. Go ahead.
So I have a question, and Nashville has a question as well.
Let me get Nashville. Go ahead, Nashville.
Salaki, sir, can you hear me?
We hear you fine.
Okay. What scripture could I use as a reference to the Lord, almost like using an insect to bring down an economy?
Insect to bring down an economy. Is that referring to something in the news?
It's referring to something like in the past, like the cotton industry. During slavery, part of it was brought down by an insect.
Yeah, there's many precepts about that. That's a pestilence.
Okay.
You can refer to pestilence back in Egypt. Right? That's literally what it is. And the reason that the bug destroys your economy is because the bug destroys your cash crop, right? Crop that you make all your money with, like cotton or wheat or corn. And that's a pestilence. And the minute the bugs eat all of the crops, then you can't sell the crops, and then your economy fails.
Okay, come.
Just look up pestilence, all right? There's a few specific ones about the moth. You can find, I would look up that moth, but definitely pestilence is what you're looking for, especially in Egypt. All right?
Come. The water, sir.
No sweat. Next. Asher.
So are you familiar with the Supreme
Let me
Court?
get some ice, please, if you don't mind. The water.
With the Supreme Court, and they're overturning the strict gun rules.
I am.
How is that going to affect New York? And
okay, there's a good precept about this, right? Give me the precept where the Lord said, be ye wise as a serpent. Someone called me about this recently, right? Give me wise as a serpent. Okay, the different in New York, right? Recently, New York's gun laws have been, the most terrible gun laws in all the earth for years. Might be 30 years or something like that, or worse than that. Where 1915, damn, where you could not have a gun in New York since 1915, although having a gun is a constitutional right everywhere in America. But in cities like Washington, D.C. and New York, they would just find a way to make it so difficult that even though you have a right to get it, really you can't meet the requirements to get it. Although you can get one, but of course you got to wait 2 years, sign this out. In New York, you had to have a legitimate reason for needing one, which meant only cops could get one or ex-cops could get one. Donald Trump had one when he was over here stealing everybody's damn apartment building. He had one. But really, ex-cops and cops were the only people that could get one in New York. In D.C., it was the same way, where you really cannot get a gun at all unless you're a cop or an ex-cop, or you can prove that you need one. Lo and behold, the only ones that actually need one are cops and ex-cops. And Chicago was the exact same way. Now, of course, these cities have terrible murder rates, all right? Even though no one can actually have a gun legally. But of course, that doesn't stop criminals from having a gun because they don't give a damn about the law anyway. So in essence, you have cities where only criminals have guns. That's it. So the cat that's going to rob you, he has a gun, but you do not have a gun to defend yourself. The person that's going to shoot you in your head, they have a gun, but you have no ability at all to defend yourself at all. And of course, the murder rates are through the roof in New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, places like that. So this week, the Supreme Court, at the same time when they took down the Roe v. Wade decision and repealed that, they also settled a case in New York proving that it is too difficult to get a gun in New York, and it's so difficult that it is taking away the Second Amendment right of people in New York to have a gun. So now the government is going to try to find a way to get more people to have legal guns. But don't celebrate, because more than likely these devils will find a way to stop you from getting a gun in New York. But it will be made easier in some way. I can't guarantee how easy it will be. You get my point. But it was a move forward into a person who is not a criminal being able to own a firearm in New York. That happened this week. All right. Now, someone asked me about this precept. Read it for me real fast.
Matthew 10:16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
Be ye therefore wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. What does it mean to be harmless as a dove? Anyone online, you can answer as well. Harmless as a dove. Please. Has nothing to do with appearing like a dove.
Salaki, sir.
It's a dove. Go ahead, online.
If I could, would it mean, because a dove is not like an aggressive bird? It's a gentle bird. Like eagles or vultures, they will attack people. They prey on other animals.
Mm-hmm.
While a dove is like, a dove will fly away. You know, a dove will just sit there. It won't attack. It won't try to harm you. You know what I mean? So it's a real non-aggressive animal.
A dove will not harm you. A dove will not attack you. That's what it means to be harmless, where you don't attack anyone. You are not the aggressor. That's what a dove is. That's what it means to be harmless. You don't attack anyone. Now, what does it mean to be wise as a serpent? And I just gave you the answer by giving you the other answer.
Houston has an answer.
Houston, you're up.
You got to unmute yourself.
Houston, I can't hear you.
They're unmuting.
Salaki, sir. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine. Go ahead.
Salaki, sir. A serpent waits for the right moment to strike.
No, because if I'm waiting for the right moment to strike, then I'm not harmless. Right? What does it mean to be wise as a serpent? Give me another shot. One more shot, then I'll send it to headquarters. Go ahead. Is that Houston got his hand up?
Khaleen,
go ahead.
Hey, Salakia, sir, is it knowing when to strike, like a time in the season?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's simpler. It's just the opposite of harmless. Levi.
If I may, sir, it means to be cunning.
No, I can't give it to you. Up front, right here. Let me get this brother right here.
To be proactive.
What does that mean?
Knowing when to protect yourself.
I'll take that. Give him a hand. All right. Here's what it means simply. Remember, Christ told his disciples to go out and buy swords. He told them if you didn't have a sword, to sell your cloak and buy a sword, right? Christ believed in self-defense, in defending yourself. Be harmless as a dove, meaning don't attack anybody, but also make sure that they don't attack you. And that's what a serpent is. A serpent is what? He's making sure that you can't get him. You understand? He's making sure, because he won't attack you. But if you try to attack him, you're getting the fangs. You understand? Right? And responsible gun ownership can be part of you being wise as a serpent. You understand? You have to have the ability to protect yourself. Just don't go harm anyone with that ability. You get my point? If you in the UPK, you know, we train to fight, and we train in the Yad Karav, which is the traditional fighting that we learned in the UPK since, you know, head priest Yeshaya was laying on beds and nails right down here in Harlem. All right, it's something that we've always practiced all the time. Since the brother down here in Harlem, I forget his name. Oh Lord, never mind. But you get the point. We've always been into self-defense. Come on. I saw the picture. Yeah, I saw the picture. Him laying flat on that bed of nails. I looked right at it. Okay, a lot of other things too. This brother with these cops down here in Harlem, where these cops walked up on him, and that was it. Yeah. Okay, this was back in the day, though. Okay, this is before Commander General Yohana brought good order and discipline to this school. But he beat these cops damn near to death. And then they went and beat him closer to that, to death. And part of that is because we always trained and we always knew how to fight. But we don't know how to fight to assault people. We don't know how to fight to rob people on the train. We learned how to fight so that we can defend ourselves, but we would never attack anyone. Wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You don't ever attack anyone, but you also make sure that they do not attack you. Now, responsible gun ownership can be part of that. It's not the only part of it, but it can be a part of your ability to defend yourself. And if you're in the UPK, you have to be able to defend yourself. You don't have a choice. And to come into this school means no one in this school is some old, we don't wear purple shirts around here. Like in here, you're going to have to learn how to defend yourself. You're going to have to learn how to defend your camp. If you don't want to ever be forced to defend someone, you're in the wrong Israelite group up. Because in here, it could happen. In here is something you have to be training for and thinking about because it could happen. You understand? At the same time, we'll never attack anyone. We'll never rob anyone. We'll never pull a gun on someone to rob them. But you could get a gun pulled on you if you attempt to rob us. That could happen. Everybody understands, all right? That's wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. If you're in New York and if you would like to own a gun, there might be a path for you to do so legally and responsibly. Everybody understands. If you're able to do it, then the UPK encourages responsible gun ownership, responsible men who learn how to fight, responsible men who are willing to take up the burden of being a protector, which is your job. Everyone understands. Now, with that said, here's what you better watch out for. Most guns that people buy, they put in their own mouth and shoot themselves with. Remember that. Okay, as you're thinking about a gun like, I'm going to defend my family, I'm going to defend my wife, go, if you don't mind, look up the majority of gun deaths in America. Do I got to do this? Is this necessary?
It's cops, right?
Look it up. Just look up the majority of gun deaths and what are the majority of gun deaths. All right. You hear about gun deaths every day, don't you? All of these murders, the majority of gun murders. You hear about them. It's on the news every day. If you can, just take 2 minutes to just look up what are the majority of gun deaths. You have it, you let me know, all right? How's the hob? Nice and loud? Microphone? If anyone online has it, you can tell me as well. Go ahead.
This is from the American University Radio. Majority of U.S. gun deaths are suicide.
Yeah. With all of the talk, whenever you hear that about that gun number, the number of deaths is amazing. The majority of gun deaths are suicides, right? So just make sure if you go get a gun to protect your family legally, make sure you're not really getting it to blow your own head off, because that's what most people do. Because they live a life that is worse than death. So if you're a drug addict, you're probably going to shoot yourself in the head. If you're an alcoholic, one day while you're crying and drunk, you're going to put that gun in your mouth. You're going to kill yourself with it. That's just the statistic. That's the numbers. So is responsible gun ownership part of what we support? Absolutely. But we do not support you buying a gun to commit a crime with it. And shooting yourself in the head is a crime. Robbing someone is a crime. Just make sure you lock it away so that your wife doesn't go in your phone with one hand and the other hand go get your gun. That's a terrible sight to see. You're going to see her going through the phone right here, tears all down her face, because you're too dumb to lock your phone. How are you brothers letting a woman get in your phone with robots on the street? It's robots out here on the streets. The cops have robots. You don't have a code on your stupid phone. Maybe you shouldn't get a gun. You might want to rethink it. All right. Moving on, please.
Mark the 3rd chapter.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, can I get an explanation of blaspheming the Holy Spirit? More so, I understand blasphemy means to insult. So how do you insult a spirit? Meaning, how do you insult a vine?
By insulting the action.
The action.
Insulting
that the vibe.
The action done by God.
Concept.
The Holy Spirit is God.
Concept.
So in essence, you can insult anyone you want except for God.
Right.
Now, how do you insult God? You insult God not by insulting your concept of God. It might be some white Jesus or some Buddha.
Right.
But by insulting something he has done.
Concept.
That cannot be denied that he did it, which is why Christ used the example of when he rose the dead or healed that brother.
Concept.
Which was something that they knew was done by a supernatural power. And instead of saying God, they said it was Satan, thereby insulting the God that did the miracle. And they insulted God, and they have to pay.
Salaka, sir.
Go 1 second. Go ahead, Art.
It's the same thing as saying, like, the ISUPK is not the home of the truth. That's the same thing as saying that's like blasphemy against the Most High.
No, that's insulting the Israelite school of UPK. I'll give you a more real life example. When white people or when oppressors get on their knees and kiss our boots. Now that's something that when people see it, they can't believe it. It's like a shock. Like, what? What are they doing? Why are they down there kissing their boots? They know it's supernatural. And to see it and go, Satan has those white people kissing their boots. That's a demon on those white people. That's why they're kissing those boots. That is insulting the Holy Spirit. It's not insulting us, but they're saying that the spirit, the supernatural power that compels these white people to kiss our boots is Satan. That's insulting the supernatural power. In this case, the supernatural power is the Most High. So that would be a everyday example of this. Come on.
Homo also be put in that category?
What did he say?
God had nothing to do with us quelling COVID. We did it by social distancing.
Okay, let me put it in exact terms. It would be like saying God did cause the cure of COVID, but Satan cured COVID. You understand? That would be that would be insulting the supernatural being that cured COVID.
Right.
So instead of you saying God cured COVID, you're acknowledging that it's something supernatural, but you're saying that supernatural thing is Satan. Now, if I say I cured it, not God, then I'm saying God is not even involved in this.
Right.
But if I say a God is involved with this, and the God involved with this is the God of demons,
right,
is Satan, then I'm insulting the God that cured COVID.
Concept. Could I get 29?
Go ahead.
This is Mark 3 and 29. But he that shall blaspheme against the Holy Spirit hath never forgiveness, but is in danger of eternal damnation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand you broke this down like you can get forgiveness, which is what 28 says right before, but you'll receive a type of punishment if I can.
No,
get
you will not get forgiveness. You're going to pay for it.
And
you're in danger of what?
Eternal damnation.
You're in danger. Does it mean that the punishment is eternal damnation? No, you're in danger of it. Meaning the punishment could be eternal damnation. You will get a punishment because you don't get forgiven. It said it right there. You just read it.
Right, Con.
So you're not, like, for instance, let's say you did something to me, I forgave you, which means nothing happened to you.
Right.
Let's say you did something to me and you had to pay a fine.
Right.
You had to do push-ups.
Right.
That means you did not get forgiven. You had to pay for it. But the pay could be push-ups. The pay could be a fine. The pay could be you getting kicked out of the school.
Right.
You're in danger of getting kicked out of the school. But you might not get kicked out of the school. You might do push-ups. You might have to pay a fine. You understand? So you're going to pay for blaspheming against God. What that penalty is, who knows? Could be eternal damnation. Could be you lose the use of your legs. Maybe you just get shot, by accident, and now you're paralyzed for the rest of your life. It's better than eternal damnation. It's better than just being in a terrible condition forever. You can be in the truth in a wheelchair.
Right.
Right? What if you just lose a leg? What if, something? There's 1,000 things that the Lord could do to you for blaspheming the Holy Spirit, all right?
Right.
Something is going to happen to you.
Right.
What happens to you is up to him.
So could I get an understanding of 28 when it says all sins can be forgiven? Shall be forgiven.
You could insult any man and get no punishment. Nothing. Meaning you insult someone, you say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And nothing happens to you. You could insult Christ and nothing happened to you. You cannot insult him and nothing happened to you. Something is going to happen to you. Good to go. All right, next.
It's 901.
Shit, all right. Zarek, how long we got? All right, I'm gonna stay on for cross the line for a couple of minutes. Give him a hand. Get on down there. Crossing the line. Abortion. The water. Salakia. Let's do abortion. Let me tell you, man. Shout out to the Officer Bun in Canada, man. I just got back from Canada this week. Ooh, I learned a lot. I was in the city of Toronto, right? And I learned a lot this week about the LGBTQ plus community. For the first time in my life, right? I understand the LGBTQ plus community. I get it. And for my whole life, I never understood it. But down there, I was around them. I'm going in and out of these clubs, and I'm just watching them and studying them. And it all came to me like, boom, I get it now. I get what this whole thing is about. And I'm going to explain it here tonight in class. Let me explain something, okay? First of all, show me the gay flag. All right, let's start with that. This is Gay Pride Month, right? But I went by the Apollo Theater.
His last day.
Oh, Jesus. I went by the Apollo Theater today. It was a shameful thing. Up on the billboard of the Apollo Theater, it was terrible to see. There was a rainbow flag, and overlaid on the rainbow flag, it said Black Pride over top of a rainbow flag. And I said, oh my God. Somehow gay people have stolen pride. Like now, just if you say you're proud, that's gay. To just have pride. Wait, show me that black one right there. This is the newest one. That one with the black, no, go up. These are the old, there's 100 different gay flags, right? It first started off just as a rainbow flag because of this cat, Harvey Milk. He had a rainbow flag out in front of his office. He was a lawyer in San Francisco that had a rainbow flag in front of his office. He got shot by someone who hated gay people enough to kill them. And so then the rainbow, that was a Freudian slip. I was just thinking about the IUIC and it came out by accident. The rainbow flag out in front of his office, they used it then to be the flag of all gayness.
champion.
Right, because Harvey Milk was such a champion for gay nightclubs that have sex in the nightclub in San Francisco. Go look it up. All right, now scroll back up. I'm gonna show you the current one. So these are the old flags. Go back, that's one right there. See that black one? That one with the big black stripe.
This one here?
Yeah, it should have a black stripe right there. But it should be a circle in the middle. So now this is another current one. And then the new one, the one that's the gay flag right now, is that one with a circle in the middle. You don't have it there. It's a black circle that looks just like this one, except it's a black circle. I'll give you a second to find it. You see it? Right there. Right there. Go back. No, the other way you came.
That's
no.
a delay. That's
shit.
You cannot. No, you can't scroll. The only one I can scroll side to side is this one. This one?
No, it's got to keep. These are the flag, but they change it every year or so. It keeps changing. Right there. So, right there. That one. Now that's the current flag right now today. Okay. Now those other flags were the flag, right? But make that nice and big. But they change it, and this is the reason that they change it, right? I'll give you a second. Is there a reason we have such a delay tonight?
No, there's always a delay from because
Really?
this is on YouTube. That's not.
Oh, okay. Solid. Well, this is the gay flag right here, right? Okay, this is another thing I studied while I was down there in Toronto, right? And okay, you see all these different colors on this flag? Now remember, it started off as a rainbow. And then they began to say everyone who was represented on the rainbow. And then as they begin to make the flag, other people were offended, like, wait a minute, you don't have a line on here for transgenders. And then they got to put a line on for transgenders. And then you don't have a line on here for black people. So you see the black, they added in, the black is not in a rainbow, but they added the black in for black gay people. And then they added another black line in for black women. And then I don't know what in the hell that circle in the middle is for. You gotta go find that out. But each one of these lines are representing a person, a group. And the reason that they have to keep adding lines and making it different is because they cannot offend anybody at all. And so every few months, they have to change it. It started off with just being the LGBT community. But guess what happened? People started to get their feelings hurt and get angry and upset because they weren't in it. So then it became the LGBTQ. So in essence, every person who calls themselves a gay thing, they have to include, because not including them is offensive. It's hurtful. And as I'm sitting, I'm watching this, it was a transgender Moabite. And I see people talking to him. He's standing there right in front of me. And I see Edomites talking to him who were not gay. And I'm watching him and looking. I'm going, why don't you tell this cat something is wrong with him? Like I'm looking, I'm like, okay, he's clearly, first of all, he's clearly a drug addict. He's this wearing this dress is clearly a reach out for help. Like, help me, my father raped me. Help me, my mother did this to me. And you can look at him and tell he's not just wearing a dress, but he's depressed and sad and miserable and a drug addict. But they act like him wearing this dress is normal, when you would think, what does this man have to do for someone to say you need some help? And then I went and researched this flag and see that the gay movement can't ever say that anyone is wrong. And that's what the whole thing is about. It's like a group where the only thing that's wrong is saying that someone is wrong. And that's it. And so when you make a flag, you have to say LGBTQ. Oh, I'm sorry, LGBTQ plus. The plus is just in case anybody feels left out. In case there's somebody, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And that's what it is to be gay. Like to just say I don't want to ever tell you that you're wrong. You have a little child. The boy child starts to wear his mother's shoes. You can't tell the child stop because that is the only thing that's wrong. So in essence, whatever someone is, you have to move out of the way and just let them be it, because that is the only crime in the gay lifestyle, is to say someone is committing a crime. Out in Los Angeles, there are billboards that tell people how to shoot heroin. Pull this up for me, please, where they say, well, make sure you get clean needles. Make sure that when you're using needles, you wash your needles and come to the place. And I'm looking at these heroin ads, and they have them in Toronto. And it's all together, like the gay lifestyle, the drug lifestyle, the weed lifestyle, all of those are combined. Because you can't ever tell anybody you should stop getting high. You can't ever say you shouldn't dress like a girl. You should get some therapy. You can't ever say it. So because you can't say it, everyone just grows up however they are, attaching to themselves to whatever thing might hurt them, because there's only one rule, and that's to never tell anyone that there are rules. Do you understand? And that's what it is to be gay. And that's why what we do is so important, because somehow in society, people think correction is cruel. And correction is not cruelty. No one hates you because they say, hey, little sister, stop dressing like a boy. You're too pretty to do that. Now you wear this. That's not hateful to do that to her. It's not hatred. Just to correct them, just to tell them, hey, switch how you walk. Hey, stop smoking weed. Hey, stop shooting that heroin. Don't do things like that. They think that it's cruel to correct someone. And that is where society has went, because this society is run by an animal. And they don't want you to ever teach your children anything. They want your children to come up like weeds in a field. You understand? Like they just grow and you never correct them. Go ahead and read that, please. Read that whenever you get a chance.
Would you give your child heroin to remove a wisdom tooth? Ask your dentist how prescription drugs can lead to heroin abuse.
That's a different one. That's somebody hating prescription drugs. This is the one I want, is when they're put up by the city, not by individuals who buy signs. But the city it's for the free injection sites, which I believe you might have here in New York already, right?
My job does right here. This one here, sir.
Say safe injection zone.
This one is
you get it.
Concert. It says they have two Hispanic people on here, one from Manhattan and one from East Harlem.
Go ahead.
It says, don't be ashamed you are using. Be empowered that you are using safely.
That's it. Oh, this is taking over the country. And this is hand in hand with the gay movement, with the weed dispensaries. And heroin is going to be legal. You better get ready for that. If you ain't ready, it is coming. You see what's happening already. They're about to make heroin legal because you can make so much money off of heroin. If you think weed is bringing money in here, good Lord. Heroin is about to bring so much money to America, it's going to shock you. Come on.
My job sponsors harm reduction centers.
Yeah.
Where they can use drugs safely.
And that whole thing, it's tied together. You know, the Black Lives Matter movement, gay agenda, weed dispensaries, heroin, it all is together. And what is the commonality? Don't ever tell anybody they can't do something. Don't ever correct them. Don't ever parent anyone. Like, this entire thing is against parenting, against taking a child and telling a child, no, don't bite that worm. There's a hook in it. This world wants you to just let your children bite the worm. They don't want you to, to teach your children about the possible dangers in life. They want you to leave your child alone. Hey, whatever he's going to be, he's going to be. Why in the hell would you let a child choose its sex? Give me another thing a child can choose. Pick something. Anything, y'all? Raise your hand. Give me something that a 9-year-old can choose without your help.
Their favorite color.
Can they choose their favorite color?
Concept.
Without your help?
Concept.
Okay, how would they go to school if you do that?
Second.
How would they go to school? Like if your child, if you said you can wear whatever color you want, can you imagine how that kid would go to school like? That kid would go to school looking like colors exploded all over himself or herself. That a child can't choose anything without a parent. Nothing at all. You have to direct a child. Or else, what's the point of having a parent? You have all the experience. Your experience lets you know that there's a hook wrapped all up in between that worm. What animal doesn't teach its children? Right. What bear or fish or bird doesn't direct the child to make sure the child doesn't get eaten by predators? But your human child is supposed to just be left alone to decide its own sex, to decide whether or not it's going to do drugs, to decide everything. And that's because there are predators that don't want you to protect your child. And I got it out there in Toronto. This is a whole group of people that think it's cruel to correct. It's cruel to just teach someone that they shouldn't do a thing. And it's not. The Lord said what? The Son, the Father, what's the one? The Father, the Son is in Hebrews. Loveth correction. The Son who the Father loves, he corrects. Is that what it says? Come. It's right around there. It's when the Father correcteth the Son who he loves. For you to tell your son not to wear a dress, that's love. It's love. Because you know that him wearing a dress is going to ruin his life. It's going to destroy him. To tell a little girl, don't do that. Don't dress like that. Don't behave like that. That's love. It's not hatred. To tell a little boy who's effeminate to toughen up, to help him to toughen up. You're not hurting the kid. Why? Because if he grows up some dress-wearing homosexual that shoots heroin, according to the billboard, you got a gay son who's in a dress. He's not ashamed to shoot up heroin. He's every terrible thing in the world. And you were sitting right there, but didn't do your job to warn him about the evils of this world. That's the gay agenda. And that's why there's so many letters. For years, I didn't get why they just kept adding letters to that LGBTQ. I didn't get it. And then I got it. Because they don't want to leave anybody out. They can't leave anybody out. Who's left out? Who's offended? Is somebody offended? Oh, put a line in the flag for them. Put a space in the flag for them. Cesaria, please.
Hebrews 12:6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth.
That's all I need. Who the Lord loves, he chastises. Your father doesn't hate you because he doesn't want you to wear a dress. That's not hatred.
Right.
God damn. Your father understands what happens to people who wear these dresses and that his nation won't have a protector with you in a dress. He knows it. He knows those feelings that you have are temporary. Don't cut off your penis. Now let's get to the abortion movement because that's on the same thing. You women out there who want abortions and you think you need an abortion, baby girl, this is what you don't know about life. In life, you change your mind later. A good parent would tell you that. The way you think right now, you won't think like that later, but the baby will still be dead. Don't do something that you cannot undo, all because of your feelings and emotions. Do you know with abortion, there is a law that the doctor cannot tell you to take a day and think about this before you do it? That's a law. Look it up. Nigga, if you went and bought a car, right now, if you buy a car, they'll give you 2 days with the car. Do you know about that?
Cooling off period.
Yeah, right now, if you want to buy a car, they'll say, take the car for a couple of days. If you don't want the car, bring the car back. Who has heard of what I'm describing? Oh, that's buying a car now. You can take the car for a day. They'll give you a test drive. You think about it. If your daughter went to have an abortion, it is illegal for the person in the abortion clinic to tell her, you should take a day to think about this before you do it. They cannot do that. That is illegal. I want you to look it up. You can't do that because they don't want this little girl to even take a breath before she does something she cannot undo. Come on.
I remember when my daughter's mother was pregnant with her, I went to every single appointment she had.
Mm-hmm.
And the people were studying, asking her questions like, is he abusing you? Because they were pushing her, asking her if she wanted to do an abortion. And because there was a male presence there, I had to be somebody that's abusing her. And she had to come and tell me. They asking me all these questions.
That's every childbirth.
Come on, sir.
Every last one. There'll be a time when they'll kind of get your wife alone and be like,
if I may, sir, that's exactly what they did. They didn't ask in front of me. They asked her alone.
Yeah.
Come on.
I've been through it about 27 times.
Go ahead, sir.
Listen, for my last one, I on purpose just back up so y'all can go talk. Go ahead. Go ask her. Go in there and ask him. I beat the shit out of you. Go ahead, nurse. Go in there. I'm going to go get a coffee. By the time I come back, you find out whether or not I'm beating the hell out of him.
Wrap it up.
Because I've just been through it so many times. Well, you really got to leave the room, right? You should, I on purpose just go leave the room when the nurse comes. I'll be right back. Just to get all that out the way so we can go ahead and keep on going ahead as kid. Right. Because they're told to do that. You understand? They have, it's not you, it's the procedure, it's the process. Right? And it's how it is. And the problem is this girl is doing something because she's in a state of mind right now. But she will not be in that state of mind later. How do I know that? Because Roe knows that. Who is Roe? Roe is the Roe from Roe v. Wade. Roe from Roe v. Wade became a pro-life advocate because she regretted having the abortion. Please, Asher, can you put that on the screen? She became a famous pro-life, anti-abortion advocate. They used her case to start Roe v. Wade. And later on, she regretted it because it is a permanent thing that you're telling a little girl to choose and to do with no parental guidance at all. And she's a kid and she doesn't know that the emotions she's feeling right now will pass. It'll be over. Parents know those things though. Parents realize the way you feel right now. I know, you ever heard of tomboys? Who's heard? Do they still use that word anymore? Oh my God. Y'all don't know what a tomboy is?
Oh, sorry, no.
I'm old. Woo. It's probably, I'm canceled.
So like you, sir. So like this is Officer Lahav of Charlotte. When the angel came to the Lord to Mary, when I read it so many times, I'm thinking, because even when it said that Joseph was a just man, he was looking at the world like what they thinking of them. And Mary was like, the angel had to come to her to confirm, like, no. This is what the Lord wants. He wanted you to have sex with Joseph.
Damn right.
Don't even think about it.
Damn right. Give him a hand. That's a fact. Why? Because that's an emotional time. And if you're young and you don't have any money and you're unsure, you can have all kinds of feelings that might make you do something drastic. It might happen, but your mind will change. But the baby can't come back. The baby will be dead. Don't do something that drastic. Come on, Asher.
She never got an abortion. She ended up giving birth to the baby and giving it up for adoption.
That's why there was a case.
Yeah, but she if I may, sir.
Go ahead.
It says that when the decision was made, she had already given the baby up for adoption, so they just used her as the.
But later on, she became a
pro-life
advocate. Right. Yeah, because that's why they went to court, because they wouldn't let her have a baby. But then by the time the case was done, the baby was born. But she became a pro-life advocate. She saw that it was wrong to abort these babies. Why? Because she got older. You understand? She got older. And as you get older, your mind changes. You feel differently about things. But that baby is still dead. Let me give you a few precepts, all right? Okay, give me Give me Exodus 21 and 22. I'll wrap it with this. Desire y'all can run.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 22. If men strive and hurt a woman with child.
Now, this is in the law. Men strive. What does it mean to strive? Two men fight. Two men are fighting, and because they're fighting, a woman gets hurt who's pregnant. This is the scenario. You got to imagine a bar or some party, right? And so now you and I decide to fight each other, but there's a pregnant woman right there. So she gets hurt in the middle of our fight. Everyone understands?
Go
ahead.
So that her fruit depart from her.
So that what happens?
Her fruit depart from her.
She loses the baby. Her fruit departs. So she loses the baby because of this fight that you and another man had. Go ahead.
And yet no mischief followed.
And yet no mischief followed. That's important. Who can explain that? It's a little difficult to explain. You might have to understand the law to understand it. Come on. Mischief. For time's sake, let me break it down to
I like it, sir.
Go ahead, Art.
Is it because sex is marriage?
No. Just think, she's already pregnant, but the fight between you and another man caused her to lose her baby. Maybe someone knocked into her. She got knocked down when we were wrecking the room and tossing the chairs over fighting, and somehow she got hurt and she lost the baby. But no mischief followed. Now, I don't have time to give you a chance, so let me do it for you, all right? Give me something that's an accident. You kill someone by accident, right? You kill someone, it's an accident. Now, what are your options right then when the accident happens? Come on.
So either run away or call for help.
You could run away. What else could you do? Give me something else.
Call for help.
Call for help. What else could you do? You could blame them. What else could you do? You could blame them. Come on.
Murder both of them.
You could kill the witnesses so no one finds out about it. Right. You could take the body, get that body, put it in the trunk of General Mayotte car, take it down to a pig farm, take it to a pig farm, take it to an alligator pit in Florida, dig a hole in New Jersey. You could hide the body. Right. Now, when they find the body, what will you say? It was an accident. But here's the problem. After the accident, you did more mischief. You understand? So you killed the person by accident, but then you ran. You hid the body. You tried to cover it up. That's the mischief. Do you understand? So you can't, and it's the same thing with today's law. If you hit somebody with your car, you do a hit and you hit somebody, boom. Now, there's a way to not go to jail. What do you have to do? You have to get out the car, stand there, wait for the police, call an ambulance. Then you could possibly not go to jail. But if you hit him and then run, you're going to jail. If you hit him and run and then burn your car, set your car on fire. If you go over to him and see if he's alive, he's moaning, you kill him so you don't have a witness to it. Then you run away. Do you understand? It was an accident, but now you have done mischief to get away with the accident. Is everyone with me? This is normal life, all right? So read it again. Come on.
So that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow.
But in this case, guess what happened? There was no mischief. It's like hitting someone in a car and you get out your car and you wait for the police. In this case, the woman did lose her baby because I elbowed her by mistake. I knocked into her when I fell down. But I stood there. I didn't do anything. I didn't kill her and kill the witnesses and do anything like that to get away with it. There was no mischief after she lost the baby. Keep going.
He shall be surely punished.
The man is going to be punished for that. It was an accident, but he is going to be punished because his actions caused her to lose the baby. Keep going.
According as the woman's husband will lay upon him.
Meaning this is how he'll pay. The woman's husband will arrest him. He will lay upon him. He will take him. Keep going.
And he shall pay as the judges determine.
The woman's husband will take him to the judge, and the judge will make him pay a penalty according to the judge's decision. Why? Because it was an accident, but this woman did lose this baby. While you're fighting, a woman lost her child. So you're going to pay. But if there's no mischief, then the husband will take you to the judge and you'll pay. Keep going.
Verse 23. And if any mischief follow.
Read that again.
If any mischief follow.
Read that again.
If any mischief follow.
But after she loses her baby, if you go run, if you punch her husband in the face when he tries to grab you, if you resist the arrest of her husband, if you refuse to go to the judge, if you then kill her so that she can't say who killed her baby, if there's some mischief you do to try to not pay for this accident, go ahead.
Then thou shalt give life for life.
Give what for what?
Life for life.
What for what?
Life for life.
If you try to get away with it, then we're going to pay life for life. You took a life when that woman lost her fruit. Now, if it was an accident and you stand there and you fess up to it, but if you try to get away with it, then you're going to trade your life for the life of that child. God loves his children. You might not. You might care about, some other silly thing. But the Lord loves those children, and you're going to pay for it. With that, pass the class over to the garden.
What we doing? You got to cut out? Camera what?
He didn't get to his topic.
Men of Israel, Madian, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madian Shabbat. Amadian, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah, Yajimatah, which means hands down, soft face sisters, Amadian, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amadian Shabbat. Amadian, Barak,
Yahweh Shabbat, Hashem Yahushua.
Yajimatah, which means hands down, class dismissed.
All right, one y'all see y'all next Thursday.
Khan, sir.